Part 51. After wearing the book, I became the group favorite. Author, Little Ginger. Chapter 501. Chapter 501 501 Food and Clothing Parents. I will naturally decide whether it is excellent or not. Lawyer Jin, let's talk about this file now. Linan placed the file in front of Jin Runs. Jin Runs opened the file, looked at it, and replied calmly, "There is nothing wrong with this file." Lawyer Jin, this file is about a technology infringement case. Our company's technology has been misappropriated. This case has not been closed. Why are you included in the closed cases? Linan stared at Jin Runs with sharp eyes. This case has been settled. The infringing company has paid compensation to our company, so the case has been settled. Jin Runs answered calmly. Since it's settled, why haven't the follow-up documents been produced? There is a certain reason why Linan is well known in the legal community. Follow-up documents have not yet come down from court. Since the follow-up documents have not been released yet, why did you classify this case as closed? You will also make small mistakes like Attorney Jin. This is really in line with your style. Lawyer Lai, the documents will be delivered in the afternoon. I haven't left yet, so it can't be considered a work mistake. Linan put the case documents aside and looked at the computer files. Lawyer Jin, I might ask you to wait here for a while. You can't leave until I get the documents. Naturally we'll cooperate with your work. After the meeting, Mo Zhongxiang went downstairs to see if Linan had come. She had worked at Fu's for a while, and her relationship with Linan was very good. When I came to Linan's office, I was slightly stunned when I saw that Jin Runs was still there. Lawyer Jin hasn't left yet. Mr. Mo, I'm waiting for a document and I'll leave after handing it over. Okay. Mo Zhongxiang passed him directly and entered Linan's office. Sister Linan, have you eaten? Linan looked at Mo Zhongxiang with a soft smile on his face. Mr. Mo, do you want to hold a reception banquet for me? Mo Zhongxiang waved his hand and sat casually on the sofa. Sister Linan, don't call me Mr. Mo, I'm getting goosebumps. You'd better call me Zhongxiang. You are my bread and butter now, Linan said with a smile. Sister, all the hairs on my body are really standing on end. Mo Zhongxiang held her hand and coquettishly. Linan flicked her forehead with his hand. You concealed it deeply. I didn't know it even if I didn't read the news. You are the daughter of the Mo family, and you and I were sisters when we were young. To be honest, should I have told you in the first place, there are people there who look like sisters. Mo Zhongxiang stuck out his tongue and said, Sister, wasn't there a secret behind that? I know you have something to hide, and I've seen Mo Ziwiyuan's case. Even with Jin Run's help, it's a life sentence. You don't have to worry about him not being punished. Linan handled most of Mo Ziwiyuan's cases, so she knew the problems best. Jin Runs and he had been rivals for many years, and she was still confident that Jin Runs couldn't get Mo Ziwiyuan out safely. Sister Nan, Jin Runs is a talented person. I wanted to retain him but couldn't. I can't bear to see him go astray. If you can, sister, you'd better help to persuade him. You still can't judge people well. Jin Runs is not a good person. It's best if he leaves. Otherwise, your little head can't even be a third of his strength. Do you think anyone can be my opponent? Linan looked at her helplessly. Mo Zhongxiang's mind turned slightly and he understood. Sister, I understand. End of this chapter. After wearing the book, I became the group favorite. Author, Little Ginger. Chapter 502. Chapter 502. It's good to know, so you should stay with Luoyi for a few more days and learn all his essence. He is an extremely cunning old fox. Mo Zhongxiang smiled awkwardly and said, Sister, it's not very nice of you to say this about Master. Why is it bad? I have been tricked by him several times. I will always find a chance to get revenge, don't you think? Linan has only suffered losses from Luoyi after being out of society for so long, So he stayed with the Fu family. I also go to work to compete with Luo Yi, although I have never won. Mo Zhongxiang just smiled and said nothing. After all, both of them were her masters. Lawyer Lai, the documents have arrived, can I leave? Jin Run's knocked on the door and waited for a reply from the person inside. Lai Nan went to get the file, opened it and confirmed it. He looked at Jin Run's with a professional smile on his face and said, Lawyer Jin, I wish you a happy holiday. Thanks. After the two shook hands, Jin Run's left, and Mo Zhongxiang took Lai Nan out to eat. Sister, there is a restaurant next to me with very delicious Japanese food. Let's go there to eat. Lai Nan didn't go. My parents, look at all these documents. Some things must be kept secret. You can't leave now. The person outside you has been working with Jin Runs for so many years. Mo Zhongxiang. She was too excited. At this time, she should be more careful. This is the Mo family, not the Fu family. There are people with all kinds of hearts here. Sister, you are still thoughtful, but we can't eat outside, so we can order takeout. Mo Zhongxiang took out his phone and placed an order. Hospital. Fu Chenxiu can already go to the ground, but his back injury is not easy to heal. Even with Guanyang's special medicine, it will take some time. Xiu, I'm having psychological counseling. Do you want to go see me? Guanyang asked Fu Chenxiu. No, she doesn't want me to be here. Fu Chenxiu remembered that Zhang Xiao had tried to restrain her emotions in front of him these past few days. After pretending to be in front of him for so many days, she also needed a place to vent. Guanyang helped Fu Chenxiu change the gauze. The shareholders of the Mo family are trying to stumbling upon Mo Zhongxiang. How do you want to deal with it? Now that the police have a lot of control over Mo Ziyuan's crimes, what are your plans later? Mo Zhongxiang has Su Yuan's on his side and nothing will happen to him. Mo Ziyuan is waiting for him to be sentenced. Fu Chenxiu didn't take these things seriously at all. All he wanted was for Zhang Xiaoxiao to be safe. Chang Yi has been salvaging at sea for several days but has not recovered Zhou Yuling's body. What he means is that Zhou Yuling is very likely to be alive, which is a potential danger. Well, just look at Jin Runs and you will find Zhou Yuling. That woman Zhou Yuling is also very clever. She even hooked a hound next to Mo Ziyuan. Ik Ting Gluo also said a lot about him. It's a pity that such a ruthless character was not taken under your control in the first place. This kind of dog that is easily seduced by women is not needed. He has been trying his best to commute Mo Ziyuan's sentence recently. Lai Nan is keeping a close eye on him, but he didn't notice the appearance of the thief Zhou Yuling. Guanyang was curious about where Jin Runs would hide Zhou Yuling. The fox always shows its tail. Fu Chenxiu is the most patient hunter. He has enough patience to wait for Zhou Yuling to appear. There is news from the Industrial and Commercial Bureau. What do you want to do with the Huang family? They are reporting you under a real name system, Guanyang said with a smile on his lips. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After wearing the book, I became the group favorite. Author, Little Ginger. Chapter 503. Chapter 503. Well, for a family that has been eliminated from Ruchin, they should make such sacrifices in return. Fu Chenxiu put on his clothes with a cold expression. The old man of the Huang family has a good relationship with your old man. If you want to do something, I'm afraid you have to say hello to your old man. Several aristocratic families are involved to some extent, and they will give each other a little face. Fu Chenxiu walked outside the ward and did not talk to Guanyang. He just said calmly, "Go and see the doctor." Guanyang. Did he just say how could someone not look at his little sweetheart? Jiangxi's ward psychiatrist is a female doctor in her 50s who looks very amiable. Xiaoxi, the house you just put together shows that you grew up in a warm family and are very healthy. Zhang had not seen a psychiatrist when she was a child, but she felt very comfortable talking to this doctor. She did grow up in a warm family. Although her parents could not provide her with high-quality living conditions, they gave her enough affection and warmth. Although Bai Yueguang is doted on by the Fu family, she still lacks the affection from her parents. "Child, can you tell me the story between you and Mr. Fu?" the psychiatrist smiled gently. Zhang Xiao blushed slightly. She was talking about Bai Yueguang's relationship with Fu Jianxiu. "I see that you like Mr. Fu very much, and Mr. Fu also likes you. You will be very happy together. That's all for today. Let's chat together tomorrow," the doctor user pointed outside the ward. Zhang Xiao looked at the two men standing outside through the glass window, stood up and ran out. "Uncle Wu, can you get out of bed?" "Well, come here to see you. How was your chat with Dr. Qian?" Fu Jianxiu rubbed her head and asked. Zhang Xiao smiled and replied, "Not bad, very easy." "Well, do you want to go for a walk? Come with me." "Good." Zhang Xiao took Fu Jianxiu's arm and left, leaving Guanyang chatting with Qian Yun. Aunt Qian was in good condition when she was little. "Well, it's not bad, but Guanyang, are you sure that the current Zhang Xiao is the former Zhang Xiao?" Qian Yun looked at the piled houses on the table. Guanyang's eyebrows tightened immediately. "Aunt Qian, if you have anything to say, just say it directly. I have met that girl several times when I was a child, but she seemed to have forgotten me. But the girl she is today has a completely different personality from the girl she was with. The girl she was with in the past lacked the care of her parents. Although you doted on her, but it cannot be completely compensated. This child seems to have no shortage of parental care. I feel that she is not a child," Qian Yun said her analysis. In this way, Guanyang's twisting marks deepened. He once hypnotized Zhang Xiaoxi, and he discovered Zhang Xiaoxi's weirdness, but he hadn't fully investigated it yet. Now that Qian Yun said this, he also remembered this incident. "Aunt Qian, my childhood is still my childhood. Please talk to her more for counseling," Guanyang said politely. "What you said, I will naturally provide psychological counseling. It's not serious in my childhood, don't worry." Qian Yun had talked to Zhang Xiaoxi quite a bit and knew what was going on. "Aunt Qian, you haven't gone to dinner yet, I'll treat you to dinner." Guanyang Guo and Qian Yun went to a vegetarian restaurant together and ordered all the dishes that Qian Yun liked. Yang, John wants to come back with me this time." Guanyang. End of this chapter. After wearing the book, I became the group favorite. Author, Little Ginger. Chapter 504. Chapter 504. 504. You are always the only one who regrets. Jian misses you very much. Qian Yun looked at Guanyang softly. Guanyang took off his glasses and rubbed the bridge of his nose. "And Qian, I have no other ideas for the time being." Qian Yun smiled kindly. Yang, Aunt Qian doesn't mean to force you. If Aunt Qian agrees, she will decisively stop that girl's idea." "Aunt Qian, we understand what you mean. I will take the time to go there this time and make it clear to John." There were obviously different emotions deep in Guanyang's eyes. "I know you are a decisive person, and Aunt Qian is the only daughter you have. Since you don't like it, Aunt Qian won't force you, but Aunt Qian hopes that you will do Aunt Qian a favor," Qian Yun said and handed over a piece of paper. He put the photo on the table and handed it to Guanyang to see. "The boy in the photo is a doctor in my psychology clinic. I like this kid very much. Aunt Qian hopes that you can match Qian with her." Guanyang lowered his eyes and looked at the photos on the table. His eyebrows twisted slightly, and a trace of anger flashed inexplicably deep in his eyes. "Aunt Qian, I feel that this man is not very good. I'm a little behind compared to you, but I'm still the best candidate," Qian Yun said with the corners of his mouth raised slightly. Guanyang put the photo in his pocket. "Aunt Qian, since you like it I will try to help you, but the outcome is beyond my control." Well, I also hope that John will be with the person she likes, so that her father and I will be happy. Kyung-yoon started to eat. Will do. Zhang Xiaoxiao and Fu Jinexai were walking hand in hand on the path in the hospital garden. Uncle Wu, I read the news that Mo's family has been very uneasy recently. Have you found anyone to help my sister? Well, Luo Yi and your uncle An are helping, so there won't be any big changes. Fifth uncle, can I go on the day Mo Ziwi Yuan's trial is held? Zhang Xiaoxiao wanted Bai Yueguang to see that the person who killed her parents had been punished by law. Fu Chenexio stopped slowly and looked down at Zhang Xiaoxiao. You are the daughter of the Mo family, so of course I have to go see you. Now you are no longer adopted by the old man, you are a member of the family. Zhang Xiaoxiao blinked his big eyes and looked at Fu Chenexio seriously, but I'm still from the Fu family. Isn't my household registration still with you, fifth uncle? Fu Chenexio's lips turned upward. You can only be from the Fu family. Zhang Shishi's eyes rolled around, and he said a little mischievously, Uncle Wu, when I return to Mo's house, can all the information on my ID card be changed? In that case, my marriage certificate with you will be changed. Doesn't count. Fu Chenexio Jun's face darkened, and he said two words in a cold voice, it counts. Oh, Zhang Xiao sighed in disappointment. Fu Chenexio stared at her with his deep eyes, his thin lips pursed into a sharp straight line, disappointed. Zhang Xiaoxio's eyelashes trembled slightly. She took Fu Chenexio's little hand and pushed hard, stood up on her toes, and quickly kissed Fu Chenexio on the cheek. Uncle Wu, you look so cute when you are angry. Fu Chenexio. Fifth uncle, you are mine, and from now on you can only be mine, so do you want to give you a chance to regret it? Fu Chenexio saw a flash of light deep in his pupils, lowered his head and sealed someone's pink lips. Well, Uncle 5. Fu Chenexio bit her lip lightly as punishment, and said in a hoarse voice, you are the only one who regrets it. I have never regretted it, and there is no need to give me a chance. End of this chapter. After wearing the book, I became the group favorite. Author, Little Ginger. Chapter 505. Chapter 505. Chapter 505. The painting style goes astray. Zhang Xiao touched the place where he was bitten, his little face almost wrinkled together, his eyebrows bent downwards in grievance, his voice was soft and waxy, Uncle Wu, it hurts a lot. Does it hurt? Yeah, Zhang Xiao said aggrievedly. Fu Chenexio pinched her cheek, and the blow was very severe. If you know it hurts, don't doubt Uncle Wu's feelings for you, you know. Zhang Xiaoxiao patted Fu Chenexio's hand with her hand, and she grinned in pain. Uncle Wu, occasional flirtation? Affection is helpful for the development of relationships. You have no interest at all. Fu Chenexio frowned and let go of the hand holding her cheek. I don't have such a feeling. But I have it in other places. Do you want to try it? Zhang Xiao's little face suddenly turned red, and the natural drawing style of his head went astray. He said shyly and irritably, Uncle Wu, you. What's wrong with me? Fu Chenexio's voice was long, and his handsome face showed that kind of ruffian smile. Even the tips of Zhang Xiaoxio's ears turned red. Uncle Wu, you are so bad, I don't tell you. My place is broken, but you girl will complain first. What I mean? There are many kinds of emotions, such as you feeding me, cooking for me and all kinds of things. What are you thinking in your little head? What? Fu Chenexio looked at Zhang Xiaoxi and said slowly, but the smile at the corner of his mouth grew bigger and bigger. Zhang Xiaoxiao was embarrassed and ran away from Fu Chenexio with his cheeks reddening. He was ashamed of the garbage in his mind. It was really embarrassing. Fu Chenexio squinted his eyes and smiled as he watched the little girl run away. His Adam's apple trembled slightly and he could hear a faint laugh. Guanyang and Kyung-yoon returned to the ward after dinner. They glanced at Zhang Xiaoxi, who was sitting on the sofa with a red face and blood dripping from his face. Then he glanced at Fujianexai, who was in a happy mood next to him. He couldn't help but think a little too much. "Boss, don't pull your wound too much," Guanyang reminded kindly. "Well, is the wound bleeding?" Fujianexai couldn't see behind and could only ask Guanyang. Guanyang's eyelids twitched, but he didn't expect that it was really as he thought. "The boss just had a bird?" "Beast, boss, the wound is not open, but you have to listen to what I just said." "But Uncle Wu just walked outside and didn't touch the wound," Zhang Xiaoxiao said seriously at the side. Guanyang. He seemed to have misunderstood something. Cough cough cough. "Xiao Xiao, you have to take good care of your fifth uncle, especially on this day when the wound is scabbed. You must not disturb him, you know," Guanyang told Zhang Xiao seriously. Zhang Xiaozhang said seriously, "Uncle Guan, I will take good care of my fifth uncle and won't let him make any big movements." "Take good care of your fifth uncle, call me if you need anything." Guanyang received the killing look in Fujianexai's eyes and quickly left the ward. "Come here in the hour." Fujianexai waved to the little girl. Zhang Xiao passed over obediently. "What's wrong with Uncle Wu?" Fujianexai brought someone into his arms, lowered his head and kissed him, from shallow to deep. Zhang Xiao did not resist, fearing that he would touch Fujianexai's wounds if he resisted. When Fujianexai finished kissing, Zhang Xiaoxiao breathed out with his thin lips slightly open, and looked at Fujianexai a little aggrievedly. "Fifth uncle, the official uncle just said, you can't move around as it will injure the wound." "I didn't move just now, I just kissed you." Fujianexai looked at someone with satisfaction. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After wearing the book, I became the group favorite. Author, Little Ginger. Chapter 506. Chapter 506. Facing Fujianexai's serious expression, Zhang Xiaoxiao felt that this man was a bit thick-skinned. Although she did not rule out close contact, he was still injured. "Fifth uncle, you can't kiss me casually until your injury is healed, you know," Zhang Xiaoxiao said to Fujianexai fiercely. Fujianexai raised his eyebrows and refused Zhang Xiaoxi's request without thinking. "No, the wound will only hurt if you don't kiss me." Zhang Xiaoxiao. After all, she is also a student. She doesn't believe such lies. Kissing the wound doesn't hurt. She is really looking for her own benefit all the time. "If the wound hurts, I will ask Uncle Guan to come over and help you deal with it. No medicine will help. A kiss is more effective than medicine." Fujianexai stubbornly waited to correct someone. "Zhang Xiao. If kissing her works, what's the point of asking them to have a doctor?" "Fifth uncle, I don't want to argue with you. Anyway, you are not allowed to kiss me until the wound is healed." Zhang Xiaoxiao ignored someone at all. Fujianexai lowered his head and sealed her nagging little mouth again. He couldn't do anything to her now. If he couldn't kiss her, it would be simply torture. Zhang Xiao opened his eyes and stared at someone helplessly. "Fuzai." Mr. Fu looked at his longtime friend with a gloomy expression. "Old Huang, what your grandson has done, I suspect he doesn't know about the relationship between our two families." Huang Bin looked at his longtime friend guiltily. "Old Fu, I can't help you for failing to educate your children and grandchildren well. Although the old Huang family is in a state of poverty, they still need the education they deserve, but they still educate them without any brains." "Grandson. Lao Huang, your grandson's matter has violated the boundaries of my family's Xiao. How do you want me to help you? I'm still the president of Fuz. I'm afraid this matter will be difficult to handle, let alone Fuz in my house now. In the hands of my son, the people inside only recognize Xiao and not me." Mr. Fu thought of the treatment he received at Fuz that day. "Old Fu is not saying that you must give him a way to survive, but our Lao Huang family has a grandson, otherwise I would not have the shame to come to you. There is really no way. Now the Industrial and Commercial Bureau has found you. If there is no tax evasion, my grandson will be finished. Huangbin doesn't want this old face anymore. As long as he can save his grandson, who is so stupid that he is going to die, shamelessness doesn't matter. Old Huang, Nico knows that what I hate most in my life is someone shooting secret arrows behind my back. It's not easy for us to still have this kind of friendship, but our relationship was ruined by your grandson, Mr. Fu said a little sadly. Huangbin understood what Mr. Fu meant and thanked him repeatedly. Old Fu, this time it's really because we, the Huang family, can't help you. If there is any use in the future, No, Lao Huang, the relationship between you and me is over. Mr. Fu is the kind of person who knows what to do. When doing this at Lao Huang's house, it means that the relationship between the two will also end. There will be. Huangbin was sad to lose a good friend like this, his brainless grandson. In Ruchin, he was still thinking about trying to bring down the Fu family, but he didn't know that it was the murderer who set up his grandson, but his grandson just happened to be there. It's like being under a curse. No matter what, he won't tell who the person who came up with the idea was, otherwise he wouldn't have asked to come here and offended his longtime friend. End of this chapter. After wearing the book, I became the group favorite. Author, Little Ginger. Chapter 507. Chapter 507. Rong Cheng. Mo Ziwi Yuan's first court session, Mo Zhangxiang came to the hospital early to see his sister Zhang Ziazi. When he saw Fu Chenxiu, he said, "Hello, Mr. Fu." Yeah, Fu Chenxiu nodded in response to her. "Brother-in-law, thank you for your help." Mo Zhangxiang knew that if Fu Chenxiu hadn't asked Luo Yi to come and help her, Mo's family would be in a mess now, and she would be as busy as a spinning top. The curvature of Fu Chenxiu's mouth changed slightly. The word brother-in-law was better than the word Mr. Fu just now. It obviously sounded more comfortable now. Her business is my business. That she obviously refers to Zhang Xiaoxiao. In his last life, he knew that he loved his sister very much, otherwise how could he be so crazy? Brother-in-law, why don't you go to court with Xiao Shi? Mo Zhangxiang knew how deep Fu Chenxiu's love was for Zhang Xiao, and wished they could be together every day. How could he be absent from such an important matter? You go first, I'll come back after changing the medicine. Fu Chenxiu glanced at the clock on the wall. It was 8:30 in the morning, and there were still 3 hours before the court session. It was enough time for him to rush to hear the results. Zhang Xiao changed her clothes and put on light makeup on her face. Today was her first time to see Mo Ziwi Yuan being tried. Of course she didn't want to miss it. "Sister, shall we go there now?" Zhang Xiaoxiao asked Mo Zhangxiang. "Well, let's go there now." Mo Zhangxiang took Zhang Shishi's hand and walked outside, leaving the ward. In the car. "Is things going well in sister's company?" Zhang Xiao asked with concern. Mo Zhangxiang drove the car and answered her, "Fortunately, it's much easier with your family's help." Zhang Shi. "Sister. You are already married to your fifth uncle, so he is not from your family, so don't be shy," Mo Zhangxiang said jokingly. Zhang Xiaoxiao's face was hot, and he looked at Mo Zhangxiang sheepishly. "Sister, will Mo Ziwi Yuan receive the punishment he deserves? I heard that the person defending him is Jin Run's." Speaking of Jin Run's, Mo Zhangxiang only had regrets in his eyes, but in the final analysis, he was the one who was willing to help Mo Ziwi Yuan. Just as Lai Nan said, he himself was not a good person, it was her poor ability to see people. He helped with the defense, but Mo Ziwi Yuan committed a crime and it was impossible for him to erase the evidence even with a powerful lawyer. Not to mention that Fu Chenxiu and Su Yuan's help secretly would not let him out, and that he had committed a crime in the first place. Zhang Xiaoxiao leaned against the car window and asked, "Sister, when will you marry Su Yuan's? She also likes to read multi-line CP when reading novels. At the beginning, she was the money maker of this pair of CPS. Of course she hopes that they can achieve positive results. Su Yuan's and I don't know yet, but when will you have a wedding with Fuchin Xiu? There won't be a wedding even if you get married, because you are afraid that someone will take away his status. Zhang Xiao shook his head and said angrily, no proposal, no ring, no proposal. I don't want to get married like this. Mo Zhangxiang laughed immediately. It turns out that there is a thought here. When I was young, how did you know that your fifth uncle didn't prepare anything? Maybe he was preparing to give you a bigger surprise. Hum hum. Zhang Xiao snorted twice. Who knows if he didn't see it? There will be. Then I'll wait. Zhang Xiao was also looking forward to a grand wedding, but because someone didn't act for a long time, she could only wait. You should believe your fifth uncle, Mo Zhangxiang said. End of this chapter. After wearing the book, I became the group favorite. Author, Little Ginger. Chapter 508. Chapter 508. Chapter 508. Sentence. After Zhang Xiao finished talking to Mo Zhangxiang, the car stopped at the entrance of the court. The two sisters got out of the car and were surrounded by the media. Mo, what do you think of Mo Ziwiyuan being accused of murdering your parents? Miss Mo, according to the news, is it true that Mo Ziwiyuan killed your parents? Miss Mo, your company is protecting Mo Ziwiyuan today. It's the gold medal lawyer Jin runs. Mo Ziwiyuan is very likely to have his sentence reduced. What do you think about this? Mo Zhangxiang protected Zhang Xiao behind him, with no expression on his face. He answered the reporter's questions calmly. He only said a simple sentence, I believe in the law. Miss Mo, don't you have anything else to say? Miss Mo, don't you have anything to say to Mo Ziwiyuan? Mo, do you mean you already knew the result? The reporter kept asking questions, but was stopped by a group of security guards, preventing them from getting close to Mo Zhangxiang and the others. Court Hall. Mo Ziwiyuan was brought out, and Jin Runs, as his defense lawyer, submitted a lot of information to the judge. Defendant, Mo Ziwiyuan was not guilty of murder. The above is the information. The presiding judge looked through the information and handed it to the police lawyer. The police lawyer then handed the information in his hand to the judge. It is a fact that the defendant murdered his own brother. Defense lawyer, your evidence cannot prove the defendant's innocence. Jin Runs also read the materials given by the police lawyer and frowned. There was a video in it. In the video, it was clear that Mo Ziwiyuan was doing something. This video was deleted by him. How could it reappear here? Everyone involved in this matter has been eliminated. Is there anything else that has slipped through the net? Defense lawyer, do you have any additional materials that you need to add? If not, this court will announce the outcome of the trial. The judge asked Jin Runs. No new information has been added. This court has pronounced that on June 13, 1999, Mo Ziwiyuan maliciously killed Mo Mingguo and Zhang Ning, causing their deaths. He concealed his crime and was sentenced to life imprisonment with a 2-year suspended sentence. Zhang Xiao and Mo Zhangxiang's eyes were moist when they heard this sentence. Mo Zhangxiang murmured in his mouth, Mom and Dad, the bad guy who killed you has been brought to justice, you can rest easy. Zhang Xiao wiped the tears from the corners of her eyes, and she was very happy to see Baiyu Eguang's family feud being avenged. The two left the court after hearing the verdict. This time they took a side door. Su Yuan's was waiting for them there early. Su Yuan's voice rang out after they got in the car. Momo, you can come home with me. The smile on Mo Zhangxiang's face suddenly froze. She forgot that she had promised this man that she would go back with him as long as Mo Ziwiyuan obeyed the law, but what would happen to Mo's family when she went back? Su Yuan's, let's discuss it. I can't ignore Mo's family. Momo, you want to lie to me? Do you want me to take you back? Mo Zhangxiang. Sister, please go back. I'll ask my fifth uncle to help look after the company. Zhang Xiao persuaded Mo Zhangxiang. This book was originally about the story of Fu Chenxiu and Mo Zhangxiang. Now she came here by accident, and the second male lead she should be getting a permanent job, and she didn't want Mo Zhangxiang to miss this marriage. When I was young, Fu Chenxiu took charge of the company's reputation. I'm afraid no one would be convinced what Mo Zhangxiang has most after taking over Mo's is his sense of responsibility. So many people in the company need wages to support their families. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After wearing the book, I became the group favorite. Author, Little Ginger. Chapter 509. Chapter 509. Chapter 509. Why didn't he think of it? Zhang Xiaoxiao glanced at Su Yuan's, who was already dark-faced, and said something to reassure Mo Zhangxiang. Sister, it's only natural that you can rest assured. Uncle Wu and I are already married. Uncle Wu is my husband and it's natural for him to help me. Zhang Xiaoxi's words deeply stimulated Su Yuan's. He turned the steering wheel fiercely and turned the car's direction. Mo Zhangxiang looked in the wrong direction, looked at him differently, and asked cautiously, Su Yuan's, where are we going? Didn't we say we want to go home? Go to the Civil Affairs Bureau to get married, Su Yuan said coldly with a tone that could not be refuted. Mo Zhangxiang. This is what stimulated me again. Su Yuan's, you need to bring your household registration book, ID card, and premarital examination. Mo Zhangxiang does not object to marriage, but he has not prepared any of these things. How can he get a marriage certificate? I just heard someone say, the household registration book is with me, I don't need to go back to get it. Mo Zhangxiang suddenly remembered that his household registration book had always been in the hands of someone, and he was afraid that he would never come back if he left. Thinking of this, Mo Zhangxiang remembered his previous life, when Su Yuan's dragged her to the Civil Affairs Bureau like crazy. They got married, but because she cried and he felt distressed, he let it go. Then do you know where the premarital examination is? Mo Zhangxiang asked again. Su Yuan's face stiffened for a moment, then he took his mobile phone and dialed a number. Where is the prenatal checkup place in Chengdu? Soon the other party gave him an address. Zhang Xiaoxiao felt the car sway and the direction of the car changed again. Sister, how about I find a place to get off the car, and you and your brother-in-law go to get the marriage certificate? It's not convenient for me to be here with only a light bulb. Why is it inconvenient? You are my sister. For such a big thing as my marriage, you will be my witness. Mo Zhangxiang held Zhang Xiaoxi's hand tightly. In fact, she was a little nervous. Zhang Xiaoxiao also felt Mo Zhangxiang's nervousness, and spoke to calm down Mo Zhangxiang's nervousness. Sister, do you know how Uncle Wu and I obtained the certificate? Shouldn't you go to the Civil Affairs Bureau to get it? Mo Zhangxiang thought about where else to get the certificate instead of going to the Civil Affairs Bureau. Zhang Xiaoxiao couldn't help but raise the corners of his mouth when he recalled the series of operations that Fu Chenxiu had done that day. We didn't go to the Civil Affairs Bureau. My fifth uncle lied to me and said that he was handling the shares and company that my grandfather left me. I just signed the papers in a daze. I later found out that it was a marriage certificate. Mo Zhangxiang never thought that Fu Chenxiu actually obtained the marriage certificate by cheating. Just fantasizing about that scene made her hate fantasy. After all, someone with Fu Chenxiu's status would not do such a thing. Of things. Sister, it's true I've only seen the marriage certificate once before. My fifth uncle said seriously that I didn't take care of it, so he would keep the marriage certificate. Mo Zhangxiang was a bit dumbfounded. Fu Chenxiu's rank is that of a little girl like Zhang Xiaoxiao. Well, it's not bad if there are no scraps left that haven't been eaten, but it seems that there are no scraps left after being eaten. When I'm young, I'll follow your fifth uncle and I'll have meat to eat. Zhangxi. Suyuans was listening to the conversation between the two of them while driving, thinking about why he hadn't thought of using this method in the first place. Suyuans quickly drove to the designated place for premarital examination, took a blood test, and got the results quickly, and finally arrived at the building of the Civil Affairs Bureau. Just after getting out of the car, Mo Zhongxiang was still a little nervous looking at the building. Suyuans knelt down at the gate of the Civil Affairs Bureau. End of this chapter. After wearing the book, I became the group favorite. Author, Little Ginger. Chapter 510. Chapter 510 Purple Diamond. Momo marry me. Suyuans knelt down on one knee, holding a ring in his hand with a purple diamond on it. Mo Zhongxiang looked at Suyuans, who was kneeling on the ground, a little at a loss. Nervousness, excitement, surprise, all kinds of emotions came one after another, and she couldn't describe what she was feeling at this moment. Her eyes were moist and blocked her sight. She remembered that purple diamond, which they saw at an auction in their previous life. She just casually said beautiful, and he remembered it. In his previous life, he also held this diamond. He proposed to her with a ring, but she didn't agree. Sister, what are you doing standing still? Hurry up and pick up the ring. Zhang Xiaoxiao turned Mo Zhongxiang around with his hand. Mo Zhongxiang wiped the tears from the corners of his eyes and put his hand in front of Suyuans. Suyuans immediately put the ring on Mo Zhongxiang's hand, and then hugged Mo Zhongxiang and spun around in circles. Momo, if you put on my ring, you are mine, you know. Yeah. Mo Zhongxiang also hugged him. Zhang Xiaoxiao watched with tears in his eyes and was extremely moved. Lovers finally get married, and the way they marry may be like Zizi. After being excited for a while at the door of the Civil Affairs Bureau, Suyuans took Mo Zhongxiang's hand and entered the Civil Affairs Bureau. He took the registration form and filled in their respective information, then took photos and stamped it. Finally, the staff said a few blessings and left. The marriage certificate was given to both of them. Mo Zhongxiang had just gotten his marriage certificate, but someone took it away before he could get it. It's the safest thing to keep this kind of thing on your body. If you lose it, you'll be in trouble. Mo Zhongxiang. Zhang Xiaoxi covered his mouth and smiled secretly. Suyuans and Fu Jianxiu are the same type. Mo Zhongxiang thought that since he had received the marriage certificate now, he would not need to go back to Ruchen. Suyuans, can we not go back to Ruchen? What did you call me? Suyuans stared at Mo Zhongxiang. Mo Zhongxiang. Zhang Shi felt that the scene was a bit familiar. Yuan Yuan. Mo Zhongxiang tried to shout like this again. Suyuan's face gradually turned dark. Zhang Xiaoxiao kindly reminded me from the side, sister, you are married now, so you need to change your title. Mo Zhongxiang. Husband. Mo Zhongxiang called again. Suyuans heard Mo Zhongxiang call out like this, his face gradually became better, and you could even see the upturned corners of his mouth. Well, then stay here for a while. Mo Zhongxiang. Suyuans drove Zhang Xiaoxiao back to the hospital, and drove home with Mo Zhongxiang. On the way home, Mo Zhongxiang borrowed the phone number Lin An called. Zhongxiang, I watched the video of Jin Run's court session today. Well, Sister Nan Mo Ziwiyuan was sentenced to death. I am very happy. Mo Zhongxiang was in a good mood today, and the corners of his mouth turned up slightly when he looked at the ring in his hand. Zhongxiang, Jin Run's state today is very wrong. This is not his attitude in court at all, Lin An said while watching the video. Mo Zhongxiang frowned slightly. Sister Nan, what do you mean? I think Jin Run's may have other plans. You'd better not take it lightly. Jin Run's and Lin An have been rivals for many years, and their opponents are the people who know each other best. Therefore, Jin Run's state is very wrong, because Lin An is too got to know him. Sister Nan, do I need to find someone to keep an eye on Jin Run's? Amo Zhongxiang believed in Linan's words and would naturally think of countermeasures and would not leave the danger here. End of this chapter.